Friday, December 19th. Kalin here in the CTV News Atlantic Weather Center with an update on some rainy and windy weather headed in the direction of the Maritime provinces. I said headed in the direction because it's not quite in place yet, but weather conditions will be deteriorating as we move into Friday evening and Friday night. Here's the storm system, the center of which is now making its way through northern areas of Quebec. The snowiest conditions near and to the north of the center of the storm. And then you can see what's headed our way here in the Maritimes. And that is a push of some warmer air, but also rain coming up the eastern seaboard of the United States. These white lines, those are lines of constant pressure in the atmosphere. They're called isobars. And you can see how they're bunching up in around the Maritimes. And that's happening as we get squeezed between the storm system and an area of high pressure off towards the east. And it's that squeeze between those two weather systems that is going to drive the stronger winds that we're expecting. So here's a look at the timeline and how both the rain and the wind will ramp up as we move through this afternoon into this evening and tonight. By around the early evening hours, some of the stronger winds will have already developed around the southwest of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia. Potential wind gusts 80 to 110 kilometers per hour, with the strongest gusts on exposed areas of the coast and higher terrain. Now, as we move a little bit later into the evening, those very strong winds develop across the south of New Brunswick and across mainland Nova Scotia, including into the Halifax area. And from there, late evening towards midnight, into eastern parts of the Maritimes, including Prince Edward Island and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. During the overnight, the strongest of the winds continue to shift towards the east, along with the rain, and that'll take it across Cape Breton, and then eventually during the early morning hours of Saturday off towards the northeast up into areas of Newfoundland. Now, in behind it for Saturday, the wind direction becomes west, and the winds are going to pick back up for the afternoon to become gusty again. Widespread gusts 40 to 70 kilometers per hour, maybe even peaking near 80 around coastal areas in the southwest of New Brunswick and the southwest of Nova Scotia. So there's really two periods of peak winds with this weather system. Just using Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island as an example to show that to you. The first peak is coming up this evening and tonight. Those will be the southerly winds. And the second period of peak winds will be out of the west for tomorrow and mostly developing late morning through afternoon before diminishing in the evening. Taking a look at the warnings that are in effect around the Maritimes, wind warnings across Nova Scotia, into Prince Edward Island, southern areas of New Brunswick, and up around parts of the north and northeast of New Brunswick, including the Acadian Peninsula. Similar weather systems with similar strength winds in the past have caused things like travel service disruptions, thinking mainly about the ferries, and the possibility of some scattered power outages. There's also some rainfall warnings in effect for the system down around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick, parts of mainland Nova Scotia, and Victoria County in Cape Breton. Potential rainfall amounts of 25 to 40 millimeters, which if it happened during the summer wouldn't be a big deal for us, but it is the winter season, so the ground's frozen. It's got a reduced ability to absorb that type of rain, and there might be some snow and some ice melt adding to the water runoff as well. So be careful about some localized ponding water issues as that system moves through. Here's the forecast for Saturday. In behind it, we're into those gusty west winds. They are going to start to bring in some colder air off the continent once again. So temperatures for the Maritimes will fall back down to and below freezing either during the day on Saturday or Saturday evening and night. Be careful about any wet surfaces turning icy. And in the forecast for Sunday right now around the region, another weaker system moving through with a scattered mixture of some flurries and some showers. Temperatures will be a little bit milder on Sunday for Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and southern areas of New Brunswick. Some highs around the low to mid single digits, and a little bit cooler for northern areas of New Brunswick with high temperatures between 1 and 3 degrees. You can find news and weather updates anytime at ctvnewsatlantic.ca.